Well, thanks to our latest COVID situation that we're going into, they have now put us back to teleworking. And for me, that causes a problem because I don't have a work desk. So luckily, last time I spent a lot of time in the office, so it wasn't a big issue. But now I need that desk. So could have ordered one online, but you know, come on now. I mean, I got parts, I've got tools, and building it yourself just kind of has a little bit of pride in it. So let me show you what I'm coming up with. Well, there's where I'm scribbling up some some rough drawings to get some dimensions of my pipe, because once you thread a pipe, that is not an easy process. So this is the best way to do it, is to get all your dimensions ahead of time. Then every man needs a workbench. A couple sawhorses, 2x12, and my trusty old vise there. This, of course, is my pipe threader. I used it partially whenever we was working inside the house and putting up the handrail. It was just, I was making too many threads for in there. To do this though, it's not going to be that much, so I'm going to go ahead and thread them myself. I got a grinder to clean the threads whenever I cut them, so I can screw it on. I got my portaband. That's what I use to cut the pipes to length. Don't have power up here at the shed, so I'm going to use my generator. Got her all hooked up. I got a few of them done already. Here they are. So I'm already on a roll getting them finished, so I'm just going to keep on clicking and see what we come up with. This row of boards, these 2x8 here on this side, these two, they will be cut split right straight in half. That'll give me two 4-footers, excuse me, 4 foot and 4 foot. And this one also 4 foot and 4 foot. And I'll put the it'll be 4 wide, and then I'll rip it down to 24 inches. So it'll be a 2 foot by 4 foot, 2 foot by 4 foot desk. And that's what she's going to be. So I'll get you a little bit of footage of me here cutting a thread on one of these, and then I'm going to chug on. There we go. There goes some more threads. That'll do for what we're doing. This is not pipe fitting. We're not doing air, water, or gas or anything like that. We're just building furniture. So it'll screw in there good and tight. Then I'll take the grinder and I'll nip this edge just a little bit so that I can so that it'll slide into the fitting better. right, let's get the last of this put together. I kind of put it together as I was making it with the different dimensions, but oh well. I also don't have 2 of the flanges for the floor. I'll have to go get those 2 flanges at the hardware store or the next time I get up to Menards, but I'm hoping that, but I think they have them at the local hardware. They're just a lot more expensive there compared to Menards.
I think we need to flip it up the other way and twist it. Yeah, we could do it. Oh, a little bit more. Come on. Oh, you got it. You got it. You got it. Yes.
Okay. That'll be the front. Put my boards across here. We'll be done. The best thing about it is as of the way we sit, I already had all this material left over from the handrail in the house, so I don't have any money in it. I put less than $20 for 2 2x8s and some cans of spray paint so we can spray paint it all up. So that's the best way to do it. Like and subscribe. See y'all again. Hey guys, some minor modifications to my desk. When we got it upstairs, I had only put 1 coat of clear coat on top of clear polyurethane on top of it, and I kind of knew what it was going to do, and it did it, and it annoys me. So what I've got is that when you sand a piece of wood and then you either put stain on it or you put poly on it, what it does is it causes the fibers to turn up. And so it's almost like Velcro. And usually you let it set till it partially dries. You lightly sand it again. That cuts off all of those little nips, makes it smooth again, and put another poly on it and they'll stay down. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 coats. And sure enough, this one had a very rough, right there, it's very rough. We ran the Swiffer duster over it just to show just how, see, it won't even slide across it. It grabs it, and see how it pulls the fibers. It's pulling the fibers of this out. That's because it's literally like Velcro. So we're just going to put just a very light sand to knock off all those high edges, and put another coat of poly on it, and that way it'll be smooth, and yeah, it'll be nicer. I knew it. I kind of took a shortcut. For those that don't know, or I'm not sure whether I stated it earlier, whenever I did this top, I was going to put together some 2x8s boards and make it a big heft because I wanted it thick, and we just time crunch and things of that sort. Well, when I was at Menards, I went there and looked, and they had these pre-made panels. This was perfect. It was 2 foot by 4 foot. I didn't have to cut a thing, so I just went ahead and bought this top for it. It's laminated, glued pieces together, but it'll come out nice. So we're going to do that. Also, another issue I had is when I put the top on, when I put my 3 bolts to secure it down, the 2 bolts on the ends, or when the board sits on the ends, it sits on this fitting right here on this edge. It doesn't sit on the pipe. Well, it does that on both sides, but when I screwed the center down, it pulled the board down to the pipe, and so I've got a bow in it. I've got a camber, so I've got a low spot in here. That'd be easy to fix. I'm going to put some washers in there to hold the center up when I bolt it back down again. Easy to fix. I'm just going to glue some washers together, paint them black, and then she'll be done again. So yep, it's one of the projects for today. Hang in there. So this is my completed frame that I made for my desk. I made it out of the same pipe as the hand railing we had in the house that we had made. And I used it because I had a bunch left over. But as it turns out, you might find it easier to buy the standard length pieces of pipe that are already threaded at Menards or Home Depot. Menards had a whole menage of different lengths. So if you can find the pre-made lengths, it's a lot easier because they're already threaded. I have a threading machine that I can thread with, so I was able to make some custom lengths for me. But also the other thing to remember is when you're working with pipe and threaded fittings, you can work yourself into a locked situation. And what I mean by that is this one screws onto this one, which screws into this one, so you can screw that on. Then you can screw this pipe around onto this one, and then that whole assembly on here. You can get to a point where if I tried to have put one across here to here, you wouldn't be able to screw it on because it won't screw into the two sides. You end up having to put a union fitting, and they're pretty expensive, but this was made to where I didn't need one, so it wasn't an issue. So I was able to just screw everything together without having to use a union anywhere. The one thing I wish I would have done different, now that I've used this upstairs, I wish I would have put this bar down lower so I could put my feet on it. Act as a little footrest for my foot to put my feet up onto. So, I mean, it wasn't a game changer. It's just one of those things I thought that would have been nice to have to prop my feet up on. So, and we have wood floors upstairs. So I have these felt pads. They're about 3-inch felt pads that I put onto the bottom of this frame. That side on this side sits on a rug, so I didn't have one on those. But I have the felt anywhere it's touching the wood. I put these big old felt pads on there, and that keeps it from scarring up the wood floor. I guess technically it's got bolts, screws. You could screw it to the floor if you wanted to. No reason for that, but yeah, if you wanted to, if it was cabinetry or had something heavy on it, you could screw it down if you wanted to. But you know, then I marked my holes where I screw my top down and painted my bolts. Painted the bolts black and the nuts that go on them. So yeah, we're going to put that second coat of polyurethane, sand that down, put some second coat of polyurethane on that. Put some washers right here so it's the same height as this and this. This will be the same height here so it doesn't cause that to bow in the center. And should be ready to go back upstairs. Ready for my laptop.
Hey, Cindy Lynn here. I am actually helping Tony out today with his dust topper. He kind of has a big job going on. He's been trying to get his workshop cleaned out and organized for several months now. Since the middle of summer, he's been working on that. I told him that I would work on this for him to help him out. I have some little projects going on today, not anything too big, so I actually have more time to do this for him than he would actually have. His plate's pretty full. So with that being said, yeah, we go ahead and help each other out as much as possible. So we're always doing projects together, and if one of us is more busy than the other, you know, we're glad to lend a hand. We always help each other out. It makes for good teamwork. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sand this top for him. He told me how he wanted it done. I always ask to make sure I don't do anything wrong, especially when it comes to a project that he has been working on. So he worked hard on this, and I don't want to mess it up. He said basically don't sand too heavy, do it real light, just to kind of get those little wood fibers that have popped up. And you can actually feel, oh boy, that spot's really rough right there. It still has the little fuzz from the Swiffer duster as well. Floating around here looks like little pieces of cotton. But anyway, so I'm just going to give this a light sand. Then I'm going to poly the top for him. And then it's probably going to take a second coat. So we're going to let it set for 24 hours and then do it again. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit this up. And we'll show you guys what it looks like in the end. And we'll run that Swiffer duster back over it again to see if we got rid of all those little wood fibers in there. So hopefully it'll do the trick for us here. So anyway, let's get to it. So I'm just gonna go real lightly here to begin with, and then kind of just run my fingers over it to see how it feels. Yep, nothing's catching. Perfect. Smooth, smooth, smooth. All right, we're going to repeat this step in 3 to 4 hours and she'll be done. So we'll just leave it at that since it's kind of boring, and we'll show you guys the final product. See you soon.